The Christmas I'll never forget. From disaster to magic. My horrible happy holiday night. Hey, everyone. Have you ever had one of those nights where everything seems to go wrong, only to realize it might have been the best thing to ever happen? Yeah, that was my Christmas in the UK. What started as the worst night of my life turned into something I'll never forget. And not just because of the crazy weather, a creepy hotel, or a lost suitcase. Stick around and I'll tell you all about it. So, let me paint the picture. I'm 26, single, and decided to spend Christmas abroad for the first time ever. Figured, why not? The UK seemed like the perfect choice. Cozy pubs, Christmas markets, and, of course, snow-covered landscapes straight out of a Hallmark movie. I booked a flight, packed light, and told myself this would be my year. Everything started fine. My plane landed in Manchester late on Christmas Eve, and I had this charming little village booked for my stay. But as soon as I stepped out of the airport, things took a turn. The weather was insane. Freezing rain, strong winds, the whole package. My cab ride to the village was like something out of a disaster movie. The driver kept muttering, "Worst storm in years, lad," which wasn't exactly comforting. When I finally arrived at the hotel, I was soaked to the bone and freezing. And let me tell you, this place was nothing like the photos online. The quaint countryside inn I'd booked? Yeah, more like a haunted house that hadn't been updated since the 70s. The receptionist was nowhere to be found, so I stood there, dripping in the lobby, until someone finally showed up. They handed me an actual key, not a key card, and pointed me to a room at the end of a dimly lit hallway. The room itself was just as bad. The heater barely worked, the bed squeaked like crazy, and the bathroom light flickered ominously, as if it was daring me to shower. But hey, it was Christmas, right? I told myself to suck it up and make the best of it. Then things got worse. I realized my suitcase, the one with all my clothes and toiletries, was missing. The airline had lost it, leaving me with nothing but my wet jeans, a hoodie, and a pair of sneakers. Fantastic. To top it off, the storm knocked out the power at the hotel. I was sitting there in total darkness, freezing, hungry, and questioning every life decision that had brought me to this moment. I tried to make the best of it. I went downstairs to see if the hotel had a generator or at least some candles. That's when I met Mary, the night manager. She looked like she'd stepped right out of a Victorian ghost story. Long gray hair, old-fashioned clothes, and a stare that made me feel like she could see straight into my soul. She handed me a candle and said, "Merry Christmas. It's going to be a long night." And it was, but not in the way I expected. Mary turned out to be the most interesting person I've ever met. She brought me tea, sat with me by the fireplace, which, thankfully, still worked, and told me all these incredible stories about the village's history. Apparently, the inn was over 300 years old, and it had seen everything, from smugglers to wartime refugees. The storm eventually eased up, and a few other guests gathered around the fire with us. We ended up sharing stories, laughing, and even singing Christmas carols. For a night that started so horribly, it turned into something magical. I forgot about my lost suitcase, the broken heater, and even the flickering bathroom light. By morning, the storm had passed, and the village looked like a winter wonderland. Mary gave me a wool sweater from the inn's lost and found, and I headed out to explore. What I thought would be a nightmare of a trip ended up being one of the happiest Christmases I've ever had. So, if you ever find yourself in a situation where everything seems to go wrong, just remember, sometimes those are the moments that create the best memories. Thanks for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. What's the craziest Christmas experience you've ever had? I'd love to hear it. See you in the next video.